Not giving Barbie a
Needs a
microphone.
mic.
That's a Joe,
I'm not in charge.
that's a Joe Bachism.
Don't put me on
really
that.
sounded
I'm
less-
not on the microphone.
Who are we going to vote?
Okay, welcome to the April 11th board meeting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mrs. Zaria.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Here.
Miss Washington.
Here.
Mr. Ferguson.
Present.
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We don't have any visitors? Okay. First hearing of the public? Nothing. Okay.
We've heard from the public.
I need a motion to approve the minutes for March 24th.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Miss Washington.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Zaria.
Yes.
Any old business?
Can we have an update on House Bill 70? Can we have an update on House Bill 70?
Do you have one?
I do not.
I think she's asking me.
Oh.
She mentioned before the board meeting, if that's okay.
Oh,
And just a very brief update on exactly where we are. The board in its biennium budget approved a path for a district to exit from state takeover. And we, along with their help, created a bunch of, how many total do we have goals to hit?
I think we have 36 total.
Yeah, it's in the mid-30s, yeah, 36, 37, goals for us to meet. And we have to meet a majority of those goals. And we've got 3 years to do it. And if in the first 3 years we don't accomplish that, we get another year. And if we don't accomplish it in the fourth year, we can petition one more time and get a fifth year. The clock starts ticking on July 1st of 2022, which is when the board formally receives their authority back. But although I think that it's obvious to the people in the community that we are behaving like a healthy school district, like a healthy organization, and without the board approval, I don't approve anything. So we have already began to behave that way, but things become official and formal beginning on July 22nd. And most of our goals are growth-oriented. So we are, our strategic plan is aligned perfectly to them. We have a lot of folks doing a lot of hard work, and I feel very comfortable with where we are and where we will be 3, 4, and 5 years from now, and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 years from now. Thank you. Anything else you want to add to that, Ross?
No, it's well said.
Anything else?
No, you're good.
No? Good? Okay.
I will add with the moving parts that are going on down in Columbus, have we been in contact with them, and are we, because there's getting ready to be new leadership there. I haven't been on the, you guys do have the Thursday calls to kind
Yes.
of get with Clary and.
We get some updates, but not so much about the behind-the-scenes workings of the search. And I think what Mark's leading or referencing is the search for a new state superintendent. And it's getting to the final stages, and we hear whispers, and we also whisper back, but that process has not been finalized. And the reason that's important to us is any changes that we make are made through the new state superintendent. So there are pieces there that we need to make sure that whoever that person is understands our situation and where we are exactly on our path.
An update to that, so when Paulo and John Richard were there, they were really leaning toward a certain issues that we had to kind of address. And then when the new interim came in, she had some other things that were really important to her that got added. And so when the next one comes, I don't know if we've got to go back into the pendulum swing, or how does that really work?
As of right now, the way I understand the process, and if somebody at the table understands it better than I do, please jump in. We go to them for changes. So if we want to modify our plan, we initiate the process, we go to them and they approve or don't. So I don't think it works the other way where they come in and tell us to add all this stuff to our plan.
But the problem with that is we went to them with a plan. They
Yes.
changed it 22 times.
Easily.
I may be drastic.
Not too much.
You're
That's
right.
not too
Maybe about
sarcastic.
22
Yeah.
times because, so it was our plan that they've modified to their plan, and now that there's a new leadership there, I'm just wondering.
Somewhat. And every time they would actually wouldn't really tell us what to do. They just told us what wasn't acceptable.
Okay.
And then as we kind of caught on to some of the things that they deemed unacceptable, then we kind of found, and those rules kind of changed. The parameters, I think, changed. But they would never tell us, no, add this. They would say this is not okay, and added concepts to add to it, but not so much specifically add these. That's,
I think the difference too is that all those revisions were prior to our plan being approved. Now, again, I could be wrong on this, but my understanding is that once our plan is approved, back to what Dr. Graham said, is that we have to go and ask for permission to change, and that once we're approved, that's what we're held to, unless, again, we ask for, some type of change, and we have to present why, and then the state board has to approve, that change, and they don't have to approve that change either.
Now, is it the state board or it's the state super?
I think it was state board, but I think it switched back to the state superintendent. It was the superintendent, then the board, then back to the
No, I
superintendent.
think you're right. We have to present
Yeah.
to the state board each year.
We present to the
progress.
state board
Yeah,
each year
but I
our
think you're right.
progress,
Yep.
but any changes, I think, go through the state superintendent.
I'm asked for another 30 seconds. Based on the plan to get out, that's not at all tied to the report card at this point, or is it tied to the report card? And I think I know the answer, but just for the sake of the folks, where are they in the variations of the report card that we're trying to do, and how will we kind of re-land into that world once that lands?
Yeah, so we're really, along with East Cleveland, Youngstown, we're really running our own race, with that. So there are a couple items that overlap. The third grade reading test, for example, is an overlap, and that was an area that we had to put in our plan, and so it's in our plan. So there's overlap there. But the vast majority of what we're held accountable to is, as Dr. Graham referenced earlier, is the amount of growth that we make from either in a majority of the cases from the fall to the spring with the students that are with us the entire time from the fall to the spring, and then we have a few measures that are year over year. So that is our race, to be running. Now, if we do those things well, it will impact the state report card, but that primarily is the race that we're running. And then the second part of your question is just where's the state with the revised report card?
Yeah, do we have any update on what's going on with the report card at this point?
So we're going to participate in a session on April 28th with just updates to where the report card is currently, for next year. So we'll know. I don't want to speculate yet.
But it's also not our area of focus. Our area of focus, and as Ross put it, is our race to run is that 36 or 37 goals that we need to meet a majority of. And that's what is going to measure us moving forward for the next 3 to 5 years.
Very good. Thank you.
Just out of curiosity too, has the governor's office had any contacts? I know this is an election year. If, let's say, the governor would change, would there be any fallout of a change in leadership at that level, or is he kind of taken himself out of the equation at this point?
Yeah, I don't think so. He was. We spoke with many people in both sides of the House and the Senate, and we also spoke to the governor. And everybody got to a point where everybody was comfortable. The House has been very supportive from the very beginning. The Senate not so much, but now the Senate leadership is supportive. So even if the governor changed and it came in with a different value set or a different opinion on this matter, I still think we're on solid ground.
Cool.
If I can add one thing, attending the OSBA meetings and conferences, they also say that they don't expect any changes. Like there's a House Bill 54, I believe, to disband the academic distress commissions, and they don't think anything else is going to change any further.
Anything else? Okay, report and recommendations of the treasurer.
I have items 8.01 through 8.05 for approval.
Motion to approve?
Support.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, report and recommendation to the CEO personnel matters.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple, I'm sure, presentations, but updates on things. And Carol, if you don't mind stepping up to the podium first. The question was asked about what we're doing to increase our diversity. And for us, and our motto's been, and actually Tim Williams said it very well, and I've stolen this line along with many others, but anytime you can increase quality by bringing in people of diversity, you do it. Or increase diversity by bringing in people of quality, you do it. And so our focus is, and I want to thank our union leadership that's in the room in negotiations. There was a major obstacle for us to increase and improve our hiring people of with diverse backgrounds and diverse demographics. And so I think we're in a much better position moving forward than we were before. But Carol, if you could walk us through your world.
Absolutely. So actually, you guys started off talking about the 36 goals that we submitted to the state as part of our strategic planning. And one of the goals as part of the strategic plan is diversity, recruitment, and retention. So yeah, to start us off, Ross is here helping me click through here, so thank you, Ross. I want to first do a shout out to the Healthy Culture 1 committee, which is really the heart of this. So there are several members of the committee that are here tonight. So I'm going to go through the names of the folks on the committee. Stephanie Alexander Johnson, Carol Carruthers, Jessica Dugan, Julie Garcia, myself, Chiquita Jones, Krista Lockage, Alex Ramsey, and Chelsea Tarver. So this is such a strong group of passionate folks that I'm just amazed with, that I've been working with this year. So kudos to the team. So what I'm going to go through is some things that we've been working on and learning. Here's just another picture I wanted to show. This is just last week at Teach Ohio Job Fair. As you see, there's Julie, Carol Carruthers, Angela Zellner, who's the talent coordinator from the HR department, and Principal Jessica Dugan. And that is actually the backdrop, and the goodies are all the help of our communications committee, who have worked so hard to make us look that good at Teach Ohio. So really exciting stuff.
Yeah, Angela was saying that we were the talk of the recruitment center. That people came over and checked out our stuff, other tables from other teachers and administrators, as well as all those looking for jobs. So,
absolutely,
yeah,
even a Southview grad from CMSD from Cleveland came over and said, "You guys are looking good." So, I mean, this is very exciting. This is the best, honestly, we've ever looked. I'm just so proud of the collaboration that we have between departments to be able to get to this point, because this is way more creative than I could ever be. So, kudos to the communications department that just have that knack for making us look good. All right, so the goal, which I was mentioning, of our committee, and this is in alignment, as I said, with the district strategic plan and also with the human resources mission and vision, is to design a sustainable plan to recruit and retain staff with diverse ethnic and racial backgrounds to reflect our community demographics. All right, so some of this started last spring, and I think I reported to the board before, so some of this may be old news to you, but I wanted to go through some of it just as a reflection of activities from the spring of 2021. So that's when we first formed this committee as part of the district leadership team. Principals, assistant principals, and administrators received training on diversity hiring by attorney Eric Johnson from Walter and Haverfield last spring. Dr. Graham had mentioned negotiating with the LEA for an earlier start date for the unassigned pool, which was a huge obstacle, as he mentioned, for allowing for earlier recruitment and hiring. We reached out to the camera organization.
If I could just highlight on that real quick. There was a process that had to be handled internally, and that's what Carol's referencing, that didn't end until April?
No, actually May.
May. So it didn't end until May, and we couldn't do any outside hiring until that process was complete. Now, the process that we have to do internally ends in March, and we have much more time to get ahead of the curve and recruit quality people.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, what it does is allows us to know what our openings are in order to snag folks early on that may have gotten snagged up by other districts. So that edge of being able to recruit early is key to our success. Next on the list, I have COVID-era job fair participation virtually via handshake. So last year in the COVID era, which I still feel like we're in the COVID era, but a little less. So they're all via Handshake, which is an online career placement service for college students. So we regained membership last year also with SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management, And we moved back to, with Dr. Graham, a proactive hiring process of finding folks that we know through our networking, other jobs, organizations that are the folks that we want in our district. And so we have moved to that proactive hiring status. And you'll see Sly Worthy is on the board agenda, and he is an example of proactive hiring process. All right, so 21-22 school year, the focus areas that we've been working on to develop the plan are learning and resources. I think I mentioned at my last presentation that our team was doing a lot of learning, looking at resources, finding out what we need to do, identifying best practices. There's also memberships, branding, grow your own, retention, partnership and collaboration, job fairs, and recruiting. Okay, retention. We worked on an employee exit survey to go live the summer of 2022 to find out, why folks are leaving the district. That's important to know so we know how to keep folks. Review and implement stay interviews. This is something that Dr. Graham introduced me to about 5 years ago, and we're going to be reintroducing those in the 22-23 school year.
And just to elaborate, a stay interview is you go to ideal employees or great staff members, teachers and support staff, and we ask, why did you stay? As opposed to doing exit interviews when it's a little late to keep people. And then what we learn from those that want to stay here, we try to do more of it. But we also get suggestions on how to be better. And these are the folks we want to cater to.
Absolutely. It's a good process. It's a good process. Okay, learning and resources. As I mentioned, the team has been doing a lot of learning. And so things that we've been looking at is the Human Capital Resource Center from the Ohio Department of Education. It's resources to attract, hire, and support excellent educators in Ohio. I Educate Ohio, it's the ODE. Again, celebrate, elevate, recruit, and diversify the education professions and educator pipeline. Battelle for Kids, and then a couple other trainings you'll see on there as well. All right, memberships. So these are important. Memberships are part of the pipeline of getting candidates, but they're also part of the best practices and finding out what other districts are doing that is successful. So we are part of the Northeast Ohio School Personnel Administrators Association. That's NEOASPA, OASPA, SHRM, as I mentioned. We're on the wait list for CAMRA and Ohio Minority Recruitment Consortium. All right, partnership and collaboration. So this we're going to be working on, and the team was very strong in identifying some different sources that we're going to be partnering and collaborating with. Historical Black College and Universities, we have been touching on that, but we're getting way more involved than we have been before. Starting with Central State University and North Carolina A&T. Local organizations, El Centro, CHIPS, Urban League, NAACP, Lorain County Black Business and Professional Women's Club, Teach Lorain, and also the Divine Nine, which is historical African American fraternities and sororities, which we have some folks in this room that are members of. Okay, branding. So this is a new word from when Erin Graham first started in the district. I never really knew what branding was. so she taught me a little bit about branding. And as I was looking a little bit more to identify what is branding, I saw a quote that I felt strongly about it. It said branding is creating a strong positive perception of the district. So I feel that is key. So we've been collaborating with the communication department to market vacancies, use of social media, marketing material and information for job fairs that you saw, invigorating the HR page on the district's website to attract and retain candidates. So I'm not the most tech savvy girl in the world. So our website is efficient and you can find things, but it's not, there's no pizzazz. So we need some pizzazz to attract those younger staff members and get people excited about our district. So I'm going to be working with the marketing and communications team to make that happen. Job fairs and recruitment. So strategic presence and participation at job fairs aimed at attracting and recruiting diverse candidates. So this is important. Also using up-to-date posting and advertising forums to maximize visibility to a diverse candidate pool. So we at this point are signed up for 10 different job fairs this year. So there's another one tomorrow at Noted, which is Northern Ohio Teacher Education Day in Akron, and that's the largest in the state of Ohio.
And you're going to have expected vacancies, potential to be able to talk.
Yes, yeah, we
I
do.
think that's a
Actually,
big
Angela
deal to-
had her list
Yeah.
that she was taking with her. She had all our stuff packed and ready to go. Principals are participating as well, that are going to that a job fair this time.
I mean, I've sat on job fairs where, you were trying to identify people that you thought might have an opening, but to be able to say, this is, to me, that's a different piece. It was kind of helpless sitting there as an administrator thinking like, well, I might or might not, have an opening. So kudos to the team that.
But instead, tomorrow, you can schedule an interview,
Yeah.
right? Right there on spot.
Absolutely. And from the Teach Ohio, we have found rock stars that we're bringing in this week for additional interviews, and one being a Lorain alumni, which I'm very excited about. So, bringing them back home. All right, grow your own. This goes to just what I was talking about. Develop and implement Educators Rising programs at the middle and high school levels. Educators Rising used to be called Future Educators of America, or FEA. It is now called Educators Rising, but it's a program that inspires students at the middle school and high school level to get an interest in becoming an educator and showing and highlighting the good things that are as you become an educator. So we're working on that with Aretha Taylor-Paydock and Mick. Research and develop programs for current staff members. So in some of our research, we've been looking at the opportunity for parapros that are interested in becoming educators, and some universities I've heard, such as Franklin University, that partners with employers to help move some folks up into the ranks of educator from parapro. So that would be part of Grow Your Own. And the last piece is reflection, assess, and recalibrate. So reflect on practices, assess results, and recalibrate as needed. So really this process is ongoing. We're learning, it'll be changing, it'll be getting better all the time. So really that reflection piece is very important. So, and also at the end, go Titans.
That's right. Any questions, board members?
Okay, we're on 9.01.
Nope, I got one more update for you first, if that's okay. There's an update that we were supposed to do before, but we were in executive session for 3.5 hours, so we postponed it. But Ross, if you could give us an update on where we are with the arts. And I think more than anything, when I'm talking to people, this is what I'm getting questioned on, and there's a lot of enthusiasm behind the questions and the answers that they're getting. So I know that for a long time, our students have not had access to many things that neighboring districts have had access to, and I think we finally fixed it. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's a lot here. We'll spotlight a few things. And the first thing I want to spotlight is just Brian Kors sitting over there. I want to give a very special thanks to Brian. Brian has, I think, been kind of a flag bearer for the arts for a number of years now, and has been really instrumental in helping to drive the development of our expanded arts. And so, Brian, thank you.
if I could just echo that real quick, I don't want to dominate the conversation, but during my first tour, I'm trying to figure out who's in charge of the arts, and I find out it's our athletic director, which is not typical. But again, the flag bearer is a great word for it. He was an art teacher, excellent teacher, represents the department well, and has been singing the song now since I've known him. I truly appreciate your leadership, and because there's so many things that we needed our hands held through, and I just appreciate you taking the lead on that.
So Brian really helped to orchestrate the whole expansion, and so we started with a really small group, Wendy Hall, Jacqueline Murdoch, and Tim Civic. So we want to again draw just special attention and thanks to the three of them, because they really mapped out our entire expansion process. So extra special thanks to them. And then these are the members of the expansion team, and we've been working now for almost exactly a year to learn and then work to be able to expand the arts for the start of next school year. So just purpose for the expansion, a few things here, and we'll spotlight a few and then catch up on where we are right now. We spent time going through a lot of research, and one of the things that really stood out to us is the students that have really robust arts experiences are way more likely to graduate. And the biggest benefit is for students who are experiencing poverty. We also have over 4,500 students that are going to charter schools or private schools in our enrollment area. we got to get those kids back. We need to have compelling reasons for them to attend our schools in a competitive environment. So the arts is, we believe, really important to that. And also, underneath all that, it is an issue of equity. Our students need to have opportunities commensurate with other school districts. They just have to. So those are some of the main areas of purpose. These are the 3 action steps from our strategic plan that we've been working on. So TL stands for teaching and learning, and then number 25. We're in number 26 right now. So these were just the processes that we followed. So we started out with what we currently offer. We spent a lot of time looking through research. We interviewed a number of other school districts and schools about their arts offerings, what works for them, surveyed our families and students, and then moving now into action step 26. Right now we are working to acquire resources is where we are right now. I'm going to hop over just a little bit. We'll spotlight a couple research items and then a couple other district items and then just to where we are. There were really 3 main areas of research or 3 articles or books that we really gravitated towards. The first one is a humongous study by the National Endowment of the Arts, 12-year longitudinal study. Over 20,000 students were involved. It looked at a number of areas, and some of the major findings of this study was, again, the graduation rate. Students were 5 times more likely to graduate that had high arts participation than those without. Students benefited in every area, from academics to civics, college enrollment, graduation rate, just benefited everywhere. Students that, and teenagers in particular with a history of intensive arts experiences had achievement really about the same, if not even better, than the general population as a whole. And the biggest benefit seemed to go to students who are experiencing poverty. National Dropout Prevention Center, we've been working with them here, and their whole goal is to keep students from dropping out of school. Their number one strategy is to make sure kids have a really robust arts experience. And for them, they recommend that by age 9, which to them is a hinge point, so this isn't about having arts opportunities just in high school, this is early and often. And by age 9, to them, is a really important hinge point. Let's see, we'll hop a little bit more. We also were looking to see, was there any extra benefit? And Tim Williams, one of his questions when we first started was, does band matter more? Does choir matter more? Does visual art matter more? And what we found is that everything matters. And we really couldn't find one that mattered more than another. So then when we set up our surveys and when we interviewed with other school districts, we wanted to find out about everything to see what the full palette of offerings are. From other school districts, here are some of the key points from our interviews with other school districts. One of the main things that stood out is arts are available to everybody, not just niche schools, not just niche programs within schools, but available to everybody, and again, starting early. And then, again, system-wide, equitable arts offerings, heavy connection with communities. That was something we heard over and over and over again. Arts are valued just as much as other subject areas. And then we have formed a really nice partnership with Ashland City Schools. They have been extremely helpful. We met with them, and we keep meeting with them. They have a really, just I think, excellent, informative approach to the arts. It's helped us quite a bit as we've worked to build our arts offerings out. There is a lot of data here from our family surveys. I'm not going to go through it in great detail, but we had 361 families participate in the family survey, and just the results that we saw have helped really drive what our offerings look like. So a few highlights. In early elementary, the number one arts offering that our families would like for their students is dance. So we've been working to figure out dance. Our families and our students really want arts to happen 2 to 3 times per week. So we've been designing our schedules then to make sure that students have arts opportunities 2 to 3 times per week. We have, on the student side, our students are much more interested in coming to school on the days that they have arts classes. They also would like to have arts offerings 2 to 3 times a week or even daily. So that's been really informative for us. A couple interesting things here, and again, there's a lot. We won't go into great detail on all of it. But just on the music side, our students in elementary really want to learn how to play the piano. So this is really informed then our approach. And so in 5th grade, we're going to emphasize teaching students how to play keyboards so they can learn how to play the piano. Dance was extremely popular with our students as well. So we're figuring out how to offer dance. We're going to bring choir back, so our students were interested in choir. So building out a robust arts offering. So where we are right now, the elementary level is we're going to offer music, visual art, and dance 1 time per week. And then our arts discussion has also opened up a number of other doors that we need to look into. And so we'll still offer physical education 1 time per week, but we also realized we have a gap in that we needed to fill around how students have interactive, innovative, hands-on experiences, and a lot of other districts offer some type of STEM type of programming. We don't. So we also have had Project Lead the Way at Longfellow Middle School for 7th and 8th grades to just rave reviews from those that participate in it. And when we were meeting with other school districts about the arts, Project Lead the Way was something that came up as well. And so our elementary team looked at a number of different possibilities, and Project Lead the Way was where that team landed, which will do a number of things for us. It'll connect a career focus for us from preschool all the way through into high school, which will just be, I think, an excellent opportunity for our students. It will give, again, a hands-on, interactive, innovative time built into the schedule for our students, again, preschool all the way up. And not just at, kind of niche, but all of our elementary schools, all 3 middle schools for 6th, 7th, and 8th grades, and then again, it'll connect to career tech. So really excited about what that's going to also be able to, the opportunities our students will have there. For middle school, again, the arts discussion has really opened up a number of things. The first one is next year you'll notice that we have a common schedule and offerings for our middle schools. So currently we've had different offerings and actually different number of periods and length of periods at our middle schools. Starting next school year, all of our middle schools will have a 6-period day. They'll all have the same offerings. We'll be teaming, which is a really important middle school concept where students will travel together and they'll have the same team of teachers throughout the course of the day. We're also going to be able to move some high school courses for credit into the middle school. One of our goals was to be able to make sure that our students have the opportunity to get to the 20 credits they need to graduate by the middle of their junior year. Well, to do that, we need to move courses for high school credit into the middle school, which is what a number of other school districts do. So high school credit courses starting next year that will be available to students in middle school include health, Spanish 1, Algebra 1. We're still working out physical education, and then we're still working out visual art. So those are all courses that students could take for high school credit in middle school. For arts specifically, and then we'll expand into some other areas as well. When we looked at our survey results from our families and our students, for middle school, pretty much our families and students said they want a little bit of everything. They want to try things out, which makes sense. So for 6th grade, we're going to have a series of quarterly options where our students can try a number of different offerings. And then in 7th and 8th grades, they can pick. And so they'll be able to pick what they're really passionate about and what they want to learn more about and to pursue and go deeper. So we will have visual art. We will also have choir, and we're going to integrate theater into choir, which will be a new offering. We'll have dance, which again will be a new offering. We'll still have physical education. We'll have Spanish across all 3 of our middle schools next year. Currently, we just had it at 1. And Spanish is going to progress from kind of a multicultural to an early language, and then Spanish 1 in 8th grade. So there'll be a progression from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We're going to offer a course, financial literacy. There are financial literacy standards for middle school. Our students have to have a financial literacy half credit for graduation in high school. We think it's so important our students need to start a lot earlier than that. So we'll have 6th, 7th, 8th grade offerings in financial literacy. Project Lead the Way, which again, currently we have just in 7th and 8th grades at Longfellow. Next year we'll have it in all 3 middle schools, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. Health, and then a band again. And then again, 7th and 8th grade will have those same options at a more progressed level depending on the course, and then for semesters instead of quarters. So middle school is going to look dramatically different for next school year, all the way around.
But if we could also, just real quick, excuse me, the goal of having a target date midway through your junior year to have your 20 credits ready for graduation means that for kids who struggle, they have more opportunities. And for kids who don't, they can take more advanced coursework. So our goal is to make sure that we are personalizing education for our students. And Ross, I know we had the conversation a couple days ago when you were fine-tuning the numbers. Do we have a net number increase and decrease of teachers?
Right now, we're up, all total, I believe 5. We're up 3 at the middle school, and we're up 2 at the high school right now, is where we are right now.
So all of this is an increase of 5 teachers, and I think our plan is moving forward to be a little bit more, I think the word we've used is Darwinian in our approach. And the courses that our students and families want to take, we're going to invest in. And the courses where they don't, then we will look at something else to be taught there. So right now, we've got some courses that have, especially at the high school, have some very low numbers because there's no student interest. So we need to determine whether or not we're going to continue to invest. And if we believe that number can increase, if not, we will, again, survey our students and our families to find out what courses they do want. Yep. And our job, again, is to provide customer service in that regard.
Yep.
I've heard questions about the libraries at elementary and middle school. What's going to happen with them?
Yeah, so we're still defining that right now. And the answer is I don't know yet. Our students need access to books in some manner, but what we currently have is a scattered approach. It's very different school by school, and our kids need the same high quality access across all of our schools. So our elementary team has met multiple times now, and right now the action for them is to learn more. And so they're learning from other school districts again, and how what media looks like and what it could look like for us, and we just need to learn more yet and then come back and define that. But yeah, we don't have that defined just yet.
Fair enough.
Other questions for the board?
So just a couple quick things. High school, this is exciting too. For visual art, we've offered a foundations class, which is kind of a holistic introduction to visual art. But then for students to go beyond that, they had to take really like an independent study. And so we're reorganizing into 4 pathways, where we'll have a ceramics pathway, a drawing and painting pathway, a design pathway, and then a brand new digital art pathway. And all of those courses will have kind of an introductory level that will then go to like a ceramics 2 and then an advanced ceramics. So one of the things our families and students were very clear on the surveys is that we need more advanced pathways within the arts. So our visual art is being completely reorganized into these 4 pathways. We'll be adding dance again as an elective, digital audio production as an elective. We'll obviously maintain our band, choir, and theater offerings. So those are some of the new offerings at the high school. Really excited about. And then currently where we are right now, our music and art teams are in the process of identifying resources and collecting bids. So they've met for a couple days last week to acquire the resources that we need. And then for dance is a tricky one. So we are partnering with the National Dance Education Organization, and Carol and Angela Zellner and I met with their CEO and other officer last Friday, and they are very excited to partner with us. So they're going to partner with us to help to staff, also to help us really design our facilities to have classroom-based dance studios. And then they're going to help us with scope and sequence, professional development, and then they also would like to partner with us around what we can learn from implementing a dance program that is district-wide in an urban environment. So they were thrilled to talk with us and want to partner with us and help us, and we're, I think, just as excited as they are about it.
I have 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
One would be health. I've had a concern that we don't offer health in our middle school. So this health would take place of the 9th grade mandatory credit. And so that's all basically they would be getting, is just the 1/2 credit in middle school?
That's all they need.
Well, for graduation purposes, yeah, but we'll still have a 6th grade offering as well that would not be for graduation purposes. So there'll still be a health, and then in 7th or 8th grade, students could take health in either 7th or 8th grade for the high school credit. And then at high school, and back to Dr. Graham's reference to electives being fairly Darwinian, we want more electives generated. So we'll still offer health at high school. We need to. So for any student that didn't, for whatever reason, take health in middle school. But we also want more interesting and compelling elective offerings. So we expect to actually grow our health offerings as we get deeper into this.
Is, I don't know how to ask this, isn't there health standards that we are supposed to teach in middle school?
Yeah, sort of. So health is we have a national set of standards to go by. We have Ohio Revised Code points that we have to address, but health is the only one that does not have a specific, like Ohio laid out set of standards to teach. But yes, we have topics that we have to address. So we're in the process of putting together what our scope and sequence looks like for health now, and then making sure that we connect with our high school staff to middle school to make sure that we're developmentally appropriate in 6th grade, and then what we offer for high school credit in the middle school has to be the same course that we're offering at the high school level.
Okay, thank you. And would it be okay to ask Mr. Corey to come to the podium to explain or address the Annie, and invite the public to Annie? I know he was just waiting to get up here and invite the public.
Whatever you need.
He's an excited public speaker.
Yes, the Lorain High Theater Department, they have been very busy planning and preparing for the upcoming production of Annie. The show is 2 nights only. It'll run April 22nd and 23rd at 7 p.m. Here at Lorain High in the Performing Arts Center. Tickets are $8 for adults and $5 for students and seniors, and free for kids under 5. And tickets will be going on sale soon out of the athletic department office and in other various places. So if there's any questions about tickets, individuals can call my office at 830-4008, and they can be picked up here. I have in the past. If there are some individuals, seniors that have a tough time getting here during the school day, we can make arrangements to make sure that we get you tickets, whether you get out of work or if you live on the other side of town, whatever it may be, we'll make it work. So just call the office.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Brian. Any other questions for us before we?
Thank you.
All right, I'd like the board to consider for approval item 9.01 in personnel matters.
Heartily
Heartily?
support.
Hard. Second.
Discussion? God, I could see all kinds of nice things. I could go on for an hour. But roll call.
Mr.
Please.
Ferguson.
Absolutely.
Mrs. Zario.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
And Ms. Washington.
I spoke with Mr. Giardini, the district attorney, and out of extreme caution, I feel most comfortable in abstaining from this vote.
I understand.
For those of you watching right now, instead of rifling through your agenda, that was the resolution to hire Sly Worthy as a district social worker. And Sly is a graduate of Lorain and just somebody, and I think Carol mentioned before, we recruited. Been talking to him now for I tried to hire him before he went into his master's degree, and he wouldn't let me. But so we've been trying to do this for quite some time. Again, your goal is to surround yourself with good people, and Sly is good people.
Yes, he is.
I'd like the board to consider for approval items 9.02 to 9.06. Personnel matters. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, and there was a mistake. Christopher Simon was put on there for a 1-year contract, and Christopher resigned. So I'd like to pull him from the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Discussion?
He's under 9.04.
Roll call.
Ms. Washington.
Yes.
Mrs. Zario.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
I'd like the board to consider for approval item 9.01, a resolution to terminate under personnel matters.
9.07.
9.07.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Ms. Washington.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Zaria.
Yes.
I'd like the board to consider for approval items 10.01 to 10.07, operation matters.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I did have one question. I'm sorry, I
That's
forgot
fine.
to ask. For 10.01, the contract for Verizon to T-Mobile, will that cost anything, will that have any cost for changing over?
Transition period.
Transitioning?
Drew, can you speak to that? I believe I know the answer, but you're in the audience, might as well bring it up, give you some face time.
That's actually a savings of between $800 and $1,000 a month.
But I think the question is, that's long-term, is there any direct cost to?
Initially.
Initially to transfer over?
No, not at all. We're receiving most of the devices at no cost, without trading in the old devices as well. At this time, that does not include the student hotspots we handed out for distance learning. We're still working on that part. This is strictly for the cellular phones that our support staff use day to day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Drew.
Okay, so we're,
It's
we
been-
good.
Yep, vote.
Roll call?
Ms. Washington.
Yes.
Mrs. Zaria.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
And Mr. President, that is all I have for you this evening.
10.07. Let's see where 10.07, okay.
Yep.
Reports and, you did that one already. Recommendations of the CEO and other matters? You're done, right?
None.
New business. Committee reports, requests from board members. Second hearing of the public.
Bambi?
I think to capture you for the video.
You know what? It's so nice to come to these board meetings and have such upbeat presentations. Like, you know how long I've come to these meetings way when Bill first got on board, and just such negativity, oh, this and that. Great presentation, great presentation. And last time with the art program, that got me excited that I wanted you to put a levy. Because I'm sitting here, oh, this would be such nice stuff, you know, to do slide presentation, go to groups and talk. It's just nice to see all this.
Thank you.
So, good job, everybody.
Thank you. And to your question about the levy, we're still good. But, but I think that the one thing we're looking at, and Akira talked about it in terms of staff, but it also applies to students. We need to attract and retain students. And I think this is going to be a game changer for us. And again, the reason we didn't need the money for the last levy we put on is because we received so many more students than we planned on. So we planned on losing a couple hundred, we picked up 400. So it's huge for us. So.
One thing, though, that irritates me when I come to go to my volunteering every day, when I turn that corner off of West Erie to Old One Avenue, I see that school on the left-hand side that says free tuition or something.
Public school.
They're not a public school.
Yeah, they
We're
are.
a public school. I don't like that terminology.
I would agree.
don't care what, that to me is not a public school.
I second.
And I don't like the idea that if my tax dollars are going there, I don't like that because I don't pay to take my money there. I pay to bring my money here. But are they?
They're a public school, and because they get the tax dollars that we would have received for those children get
I don't like
passed
that.
on to them.
Wonder if I could tell them I don't want my money there. No, really, that's ridiculous. They shouldn't have that opportunity. If they want to go to a different school other than ours, they should pay like a private school out of their own pocket.
I understand. Actually, I disagree on one part of that. If we're not meeting the needs of the families we're here to serve, then shame on us. And I understand why people have left. But what we're trying to do is consistently take the steps that speak to folks and say, we are listening, we are going to do it, and then we keep our promises. So I think we're on that pathway, and if we do the right things, they'll come back.
Yeah.
And I believe we're doing the right things.
Because not all the reasons that they say are legitimate. You know, one time I was at a wedding and this lady was talking so highly of Lorain City Schools. I thought, Jim, and asked her if she wants to join the levy committee. And I says, where do your kids go to school at? Oh, they go to that school across from City Hall. And I'm like, what? Why are you sending them there? You're talking so highly of everything we offer. Well, they weren't, at this one school, they weren't very nice to me that day. So, I mean, like, come on.
Doesn't take much.
You could go anywhere. They can't be nice to you. But anyways, good job.
Thanks, Bambi.
Real quick, I have a band boosters meeting at 6:30, so I have some time to kill before I have to go in.
So please, carry on. Yeah.
No, all seriousness, I know that Ross doesn't deserve any credit for anything. What I will say is, he has done an unbelievable job. He has a very unique skill set in taking so much information being provided by so many different people, whether it be teachers, administrators, so on and so forth, taking it, digesting it, and putting that plan together. I'll be honest with you, I could never do it. There are only certain people that have that type of skill set, and unbelievable. And I will say the last meeting that we had, which very long throughout the course of the day, when you think about telling people you have to come and you have to be in this meeting all day, okay? Usually after the first hour or two, people are falling asleep or they're upset and they want to. The level of excitement from the teachers that are in that room are beyond anything I've ever seen. It's been 17 years since I've been, an art teacher. Prior to that, about 20 years ago, I was an elementary art teacher. And I'll be totally honest when I say that we were what was called itinerants, and we were the people that gave the teachers breaks so they had their planning period. I mean, that's how we felt 20 years ago. These people feel appreciated on a level that I believe they've never felt appreciated, okay? To where they're going to be doing things that not only have never been done in Lorain City Schools, but I think have not been done in surrounding districts around us. And it's going to be unbelievable. Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable.
Very excited, and Ross is special, without a doubt.
Every time he brings something about this, I'm so excited to hear about the arts for our kids, for my kids, just to see what they're going to have every day here in our schools is so exciting to see. So I'm very excited for it as well.
You should make t-shirts with your face on it.
I know, that's what she just said. It doesn't make you want to go back to teach. And I was an elementary art teacher before I was high school. I liked elementary more than I did high school, I'll be honest. I loved elementary. And that's where it does get me excited, because I'm thinking about back when I taught, all the different things that I would be planning for right now, all summer, just getting prepared for the school year.
Excellent. And again, another question that Bill's known for asking is this sustainable? And the answer is yes. I mean, right now we're talking 5 teachers, and some of that is because of taking high school teachers for the 8th grade courses that are going to be high school courses. So once you do that, you don't need as many health teachers at the high school anymore. And an example, though, of the Darwinian approach, and we did this in the previous district I was in, and the phys ed teachers all showed up, and they were saying you're going to cost us our jobs because no one's going to take phys ed at the high school. Just the opposite happened, because they created robust art courses and phys ed courses that kids wanted to take. So it was it was just, it's going to be a beautiful thing to watch, and the cost is going to be overall negligible. And the startup costs are going to be grant funded through ESSER. So the materials, the equipment, the stuff that has a cost to it is there. So, but thank you, Bambi and Brian.
Love you guys.
Likewise.
So,
Second.
Can we ask Miss AJ to come up and talk about the spring event we're planning? There's so many great things.
She'll tell you.
Yep.
So many great things that are going on in our buildings, in our district, and we have to get it
hey,
out.
Mark, what's up? I'm gonna pass this over. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just sure. No. Go right ahead. I know what you're doing, and I'm for it. Go right ahead.
I still didn't get the notice. Can you
get ready. We are having our LCS spring event. We are asking everyone to come out. It is geared towards science and technology, engineering and math, and community. During the day, we are asking for the students and the school to do something in the community around their school, to clean up their school or do something towards STEM. And then in the evening, we're asking for parents to come out with their students and have a wonderful time. If you think you had a fun time during Winter Wonderland, watch out when we come for the spring event. If you had fun during ice skating, wait until we zip line. Did I say that? Don't hear that, Dr. Graham. So we are going to have fun. We're going to have excitement, but the most important thing is about parent engagement, science, technology, engineering, and math. So we're looking for everyone to come out May 11th, and we're looking for the schools to come out. We're looking for everyone to come out, board members. We're looking for you to come out and enjoy with us.
Where at?
It's going to be right here at Lorain High School, so we're going to take the gym. We're going to be outside. We have different community organizations helping us, so we're going to take up the whole high school.
You do know you signed up for this already.
Yeah, I do. Okay. But I didn't know where I had to go. And usually my wife tells me where to go, but she doesn't know about this.
So that we're going to have haircuts, face painting. We're going to be having giveaways. We're going to give away books. And everything is free, and we're going to be giving out a meal. So we're going to have fun. It's going to be fabulous, just like the Winter Wonderland. Okay?
Super.
Thank you.
Thanks, AJ. And I'm going to, again, appreciate your leadership on this one, too. And this came out in the Titan Fam group. I'd like to thank all of them for putting things like this together. And this is exactly in line with what I was talking about with Bambi. This is what our family said they want. So we did it, and we reviewed it. We processed it and figured out we could have done some things a little bit differently, but got some more ideas. And, again, it will continue to grow, and we'll continue to respond to what people say they want. So thank you.
Is there a way we could invite those 4,500 kids that are in our district that don't come here to see that?
We do have access to most of their information, and so we are letting them know who we are and that things are changing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything more, Barbie?
No.
You sure? Okay, announcement, the next board meeting will be April 25th here at 5 o'clock.
I will be out of town. It's my yearly week vacation.
I might be home.
Did you say April 25th, Bill?
Yeah, he's going to be out of town too.
Yeah.
What's that?
Possible.
There's no school day that day because I should be back in time
I will not be in town.
because we'll be out of town that
I mean,
weekend.
I can do it by Zoom, but I won't be in town.
We can vote by Zoom still, so, or you can change it. But
Okay.
We'll work with you, everybody. Okay, our executive session, we've canceled that, so I need a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Ms. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Washington.
thank you.
See you, bro.
All right.